You're listening to the C1D Paintball Podcast.
Hey there, Andrew. Welcome to the C1D Paintball Podcast. I'm joined today by Connor. You want to say hi?
Hello, everyone. It's good to be back.
And yeah, it's cozy. It's just the two of us, the two OG guys from C1D.
It is.
And
Not as crowded. There's lots of room now.
Lots of room, and maybe not as much lag when getting all this out. But hey, I enjoy having other people on the show. But just like the old days, me and Connor. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk about the weekend we just had, our Saturday event. Which what did I call it again? What did I call that? What's the name of this room?
Longball.
Longball. It's called Longball for a reason. So. One reason why I say it was kind of like an old thing, just me and Connor being here talking, is it was kind of our schedule is a little bit off with a lot of guys in the club right now. As a matter of fact, this coming weekend we should have a pretty good turnout, but it was a smallish turnout for C1D people. There was myself, Connor, Michael. How would you describe Green Rental, Felix, I guess the newest members? That's polite to say, not our junior members.
Yeah. I mean, Green Rental, CHGN, I think is his full name. Felix, and they brought out their buddy Fred, too, that we played with the one time. That was the guy with the black Milsim look. And Felix brought out his dad, so...
He brought his dad, which is great,
yeah.
And that would be the fourth time this year we've had father-son happen at the field. We had D-Day, of course, Jeff brings Jared. Michelangelo brought his dad. I bring you, at least sometimes. And, Felix and his dad. Now,
technically, Ben brought out his dad that one time, right? He brought out Mike.
Oh, that's true, and he's an honorary member from that day too. That is right. And Now it was kind of intimate. How many? It was 6-on-6 all day. We had 12.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we had a few little hiccups with some markers where we have a guy maybe sitting out on our team, so it was a few 5v6s, I think. But no, it was 12 of us out there.
Now, the good old something Connor introduced, which I thought would be kind of a pseudo joke this year, was to select teams instead of like selecting captains and all this, which can be fun and humbling at times too. We got popsicle sticks we draw. You've probably, if you've heard our other podcasts, you know that. And it was the ref who suggested we do that, right?
Yeah, I keep on forgetting to ask his name. It wasn't Tyler, it was the other guy. He asked if we had our popsicle sticks.
Yeah,
so I guess it saves him the headache, right, of having to make teams, because, hey, if they're imbalanced, right, it's not his fault.
And you know what? They were fairly balanced. Which was good. And as it happened, myself, Connor, and Michael, we're all on the same team. The popsicle sticks deemed it so. And of course, because we're not there with all the regular C1D guys and a whole bunch of us, you get that thing, and I'm sure some paintballers out there know this, when you go to a field and you got decked out gear and they think, well, you're ringers, you're pros. It's like, no. We had to explain we're not ringers and pros. Now, Felix, Green Rental, what's their other friend's name again? And all in black, you said? Fred, who got me a couple times on the day. And Felix's dad, they played on the other side. And even though they were experienced in that, they're still getting used to how we play. So the three of us, plus three others of our side, a nice group of walk-ins too. Now, I remember Damon was one of the walk-ins. Do you remember a couple of the other names? I hate to stick this with you, Connor. You're better than me with names.
Yeah, no, on our team it was Jason and Owen, which is the birthday boy.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other team, it was Adam, which is the guy with the fancy marker.
Yes, sir.
Then Damon and his girlfriend, Jen.
And this is one where I really, really wish Thomas was there, because he kept asking me questions about that fancy gun. I think it's an autococker. And how do you do this?
Yeah.
How do you do that? I didn't even know. I didn't even have my Allen keys. But but what happened on the day, and we ended up playing. I think we played 7 games. Actually, I'm going to explain the weather. It rained everywhere but the field, which is nice. But especially on Village, when you see, there's going to be at least one video from the Village game, because the other one we played was a quick one. It was kind of overcast, and it was almost like twilight at the field. The lighting was pretty dim. I liked it. What did you think about it? It's just...
I was gonna say it's like Twilight, like where you see the tall trees and the gray skies. But no, it's pretty like atmospheric.
Yeah,
little
yeah.
like you felt a vibe. No, it was cool, and like you said, it rained everywhere but the field, so there wasn't any mud anywhere slippery or whatever. So it was
Yeah, visibility
nice.
not as crisp. All we needed was fog to make it like get that feel of it. But the reason why we call it Longball, and do you want me to start to describe maybe what we faced on the day, or do you want to open up and say that, Connor? Because
I mean, yeah, I can take a crack at it.
take a crack at it.
So-
I won't correct you. I'll probably build on it because you're very articulate. Don't get me wrong.
Well, so, I guess out of the group of people there, right, there was 3 little groups, right? So there is like me, my dad, and Michael, which kind of play similarly. Then there was Green Rental, Felix's dad, and Fred, that they kind of all play the same type of very like slow and methodical game. And then there was Damon and his group, which play kind of maybe a mix of both of ours, like maybe in the middle, but they also haven't played in a while, so they're a little slower paced, especially the first few games. So it's really those first few games of the day is why the series is called Long Ball, not because there was long balls, but just because it was long games of paintball. So definitely took some getting used to because of like the normal group that we played. Like, not that it's like, you know, a Call of Duty match where you're sprinting into each other dying, but it was a more like slow paced and methodical day. So it took some getting used to for me, especially since I like to be a little aggressive.
Yeah, they stayed. There was a. It took them a while to get out of spawn, and I'm not criticizing that. You get that with a lot of newer players. Honestly, it can be. I think maybe we can intimidate them for a little bit. Me, you, and Michael, because we'd been out before and all this, and so they might want to just, you know, have us take the risks, and that was what was happening in the day. And, you know, when we're with the usual C1D guys, and I see there's Mike and Norm in the audience right now. I mean, Norm and I always seem to play against each other, except, and maybe that's good because one of the few times he shot me in the back this year when he was on my team. Good shot, by the way. Might have been the only hit he got all day, by the way, Norm. That's my revenge to say that.
You're never going to let him forget that.
I'm never, Norm.
You're bring that to the grave, yeah.
You're a great guy, but your KD against me is better when you're on my team. Had Norm been on the other team, oh no, I just picked on Norm. Had Mike been on the other team staying at spawn, I can call out and say, hey, come on out and join the big boys, and say something like that. But I'm not going to say it to newer players, even though Felix was pretty good sitting back there. But you don't want to, it's like, you know what, this isn't really, there's only a few C1D guys out here, so we're playing field rules, you know, just letting it loose, and we're not going to scream, get out of spawn. But it made it definitely challenging, and as you said, the games themselves were long, and hence that's why, see, we didn't play a full day, but on a normal day where we play 3-4 hours, we can get 10, 12 games, so we didn't get as many, but
Yeah.
they were pretty fun. So let's talk about it first. We'll run through the games, and the big thing, by the way, is there is new barriers that actually I donated from my work that were put on the market field, and they're kind of to the side, and they'll also play in with when you have a mini big game. But let's talk about the first 2 games. We played at Village, straightforward team deathmatch. Connor mentioned, when I mentioned Twilight, I didn't mean the movie per se. I meant like it wasn't very bright, but it did have a Twilight feel, like with the tall trees, and like I said, there was moisture in the air, but it wasn't raining. The video, I'm not editing the video at all, making it look whatever. I'm keeping it straight because it looked really cool. But we did the usual spawns on that 1 and 3, and then we took we inverted, went that way. Me and you got knocked out of the first one pretty early. We got knocked out of the first one early, and the second one, and I guess that's where Connor, you said we had to adjust. The second game, I think 4 of their 6 players stayed at spawn on spawn point 1. Granted, Connor, that is the best spawn point on the field, wouldn't you say?
I mean, if you have to camp out and hold it down, it's probably the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, not in terms of what you can run to right away, but if you just want to stay put, it's the safest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, you went to a spot north. Actually, you went to a spot I like to call Miranda's spot. She likes to go around that part of the field when she's playing.
Not quite her spot, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a little further south, right? It's the corner, right?
yeah. That's where I told Michael to go, because first game, to go back is I ran in and got knocked out pretty quickly. And so when I was talking with the ref sitting on the side, I kind of realized it's, if I want to have any success today, I'm going to have to change up my my game. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be able to play the normal way I do because I got hooked. Yeah, I mean, I went up top to that spawn number 2 on the hill.
Yes, sir.
Kind of just hold that so that they couldn't move up on that road side of the field. Cut off that line, and I know you brought it up that there was still 4 of them in spawn because I got there right away, and kind of got them stuck in there, I guess.
Yeah, I actually went down kind of the middle of the field, but more south of where you were. And there was a guy at missiles, and I tried to do stuff there, and I realized that I heard you making call-outs, and Michael got knocked out. You mentioned Michael was in Miranda's spot. Michael gets knocked out. So I actually pulled a page out of your playbook, Connors. I went all the way back around spawn, and I joined you in the north. And there are 2 guys that were outside of the spawn. The one guy at missiles who I kind of ran away from, well, when they got knocked out, we kind of methodically just wore them out until there was one guy left. He ended up freezing him out. I actually enjoyed it to an extent, and to the point where it was experienced guys, good experienced guys in there. I know Felix was in there in particular. So guys that have, not a huge experience, but pretty good experience. And I didn't feel bad we weren't peppering spawn with shots. We weren't being idiots about it. We're having fun with it, especially me. I only have the 5 mags. And we whittled them away. And you want to take the credit, Connor? How did the last guy get out there? I want to say I distracted him, right? I distracted him by turning my back and getting shot in the back.
Yeah, your signature move.
My signature.
Oh no, I couldn't believe that when I since I was where I was all game, I was really keeping track of how many guys are left on the other team. And so when I heard that the ref called out that a yellow was out, I knew it's okay, there's only 1 left. I saw a few shooting from the spawn, so I'm there's 1 left, and he's in their spawn. And so when you died in your back, I was a little perplexed. I mean, you distracted him. Is that after that I creeped down the road, literally right in the open, because I saw the tip of his marker and his hopper in the window.
Mm-hmm.
I had it mounted in the window. So I was just creaking up super slowly, and I didn't even see all of them, but I yelled freeze because I didn't want to go around the corner and start
I didn't want to let him
obliterating him, right? Having it be that close, and he accepted it because I knew that I had his back in the first place too, but no, he took the freeze, which I thought was fine, even though I didn't completely see him. But you can see in the footage is that I was 1 step from getting him in his back, but yeah.
And it was one of those situations where when I was shooting, because I ended up fairly close to them, one of the barriers near them, and seeing at the time there was 2, maybe 3 of them left inside, but there was 2 in particular. I was going back and forth, and maybe the experienced guys listening to this know it's okay, I've only got 5 mags, I can't spam it, so I'm just putting in 1, 2, another shot, 1, 2, 3 shots like that, and they're just curving, they're just missing. Then I hit one, damn thing didn't break. It was one of those things and it was I didn't mind it. It was a slower pace than what we're used to, but it was good. Then we moved on to Market. And that's where I'll mention, and you'll see it in the upcoming videos because I got to expand the field, the map I made of it. There is a little area that opened up where the old safe zone used to be. They still have the porta potty there. And they had a few of these long wooden crates. And I donated, my work donated some crates, and they put them there. They put a bunch of different stacks, and it's kind of like a wall, like a barrier looking over on the other side where Village and the forest is. But it's kind of like a little, it's strange because really Market is a rectangular map, but this little piece kind of makes it like an R on top, like a lowercase r, where there's this little enclave of stuff to go. Now, I don't think you actually, you did play in there on our second game there. You kind of played there. We'll explain that after because I don't want to rob that moment for you. But when I went there to check it out, because the first game we were spawning on the old White House side where that is, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went there. And the thing about these crates I donated in that they've got a lot of holes in them. So you can see, you can't see, there's a lot of splash. It played pretty well. I think when we play it with a bunch of the regulars that we might tear that apart. But they did sit back in that first game and they waited for us, with the exception of Damon, who we should change that name to Demon because that kid really, look, they were all the new guys we hadn't played with before. I don't have a complaint about any of them. I will never complain about a person if they're not good. But I think they had, if you took the base level of the lowest player out there, they were all very good. That lowest player was still a pretty good player. And so Damon came up on the left side, and I was kind of going in that zone trying to figure it out. I know you sat back a lot. You were trying to find a hole, but you just couldn't find one. How would you like to explain how things went in that one?
Well, I kind of just sat back to like see how they'd play it because I knew that, you know, maybe on Village they might see it as a more a slow-paced field because of how it's shaped and how it's bigger. So I thought, okay, maybe on that one they'll stay back, and so I didn't run up at the initial at the whistle for the third game just to get an idea. It's like, are they going to run up? And some of them did, and some of them didn't. So I kind of spent that whole entire game just kind of looking at what they do and made like little profiles of like, okay, this person likes to run up right away. This person likes to run up a little after. So I used that for like kind of like the rest of the day. I spectated the game.
But I'll give it one thing though, is it's always a question on that when you're spawning there is get across the road. And even though, let's say you sit at spawn for 2 minutes, first 2 minutes of the game, you can get across the road with some cover fire and such, but they were so entrenched in, it probably, I trust your skills, I would have never got across the road, but it still would have been a tough task for that. But your spectating kind of helped out because when we reversed the roles and we spawned from the south spawn, of course south spawn gets you a line to go to Stonehenge in the middle of the field. So when we started the game, I should have known better, by the way. So I'm going to go to the start, and I'm going to go from the left of the barrier. We're behind our spawn point, and I'm going to go to Stonehenge on the right side of it behind. Michael's going to go on the left side. Michael, by the way, used his TMC for the first time and seemed to do pretty well with it. We had cover fire, and Connor says, I'm going to go to the right. So I end up digging in with Michael, and we have a grand old time in the middle. He's doing great call-outs. I'm getting shot at. Like, the field made a lot of money on people trying to hit Andrew in game number 4. But I guess I misinterpreted. Connor, when you said you're going on the right, first of all, what did you have in mind? Did you deviate? And do explain the final outcome of you choosing the right side, which, when you're looking at the map, geographically is the east, for those of you who'd prefer to say that.
Yeah, well, from the third game, I kind of figured out the way to beat with how they were playing was to just be super aggressive, not like as a maybe as a team, not as an individual, but as a team. So I told the guys before we started. I didn't tell you, Dad, but I spoke to Michael and Jason before. It's like, hey, I'll go right, Michael, you go middle, Jason, you go left. Let's just take midfield and let's just try to whittle them down. And so my idea was to run up right to the big stack of barrels and on the east side. And once I got there, I saw Fred that he was moving up to some of the wooden boxes, like the long rectangle box.
You're on a collision course to each other for those that don't know the field.
Exactly, yeah. So we were heading into each other, and I saw him as he was going in. I saw him like reaching down. So I'm like, okay, I think he's reloading already. And so instead of getting to the barrels right away, I ran past the barrels, and I got him in his back. And as that's happening, I realized how like far up I am, and it's like, oh shit, I have to like get to cover. And I did. And by the time I realized where I was, I was in that new stack of
the enclave.
Containers. Yeah. So I was up there. 15, 20 seconds into the game, I don't know, maybe 30, I'm not too sure. But it wasn't like, it was all in like one run of me not stopping. And I'm up on their side, like 80% up from our spawn, I guess.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty deep on their side.
Yeah, you're deep on that side. In the middle, as this is happening, because I'm under fire, it takes forever. But I didn't have to worry, because what did you do after? When you got to the enclave?
Yeah, when I was there, the first really big thing is I heard Damon. He was on the box. Like if you're spawning in that spawn, looking at the center of the field, he was to the left on that giant double-story box. And he called me out right away. And so it's like, oh god. So I'm like popping shots at him, but then I'm getting shot across the way from Jen. And so I knew I was kind of in a bad spot, so I kept on moving up little by little when they stopped shooting. And finally I managed to creep up to a good spot where I felt comfortable, and I had a little duel with Damon. And got him out. And after that I was able to like really take the corner and really see behind them, like in their spawn. So I started throwing some shots in. And and the game was pretty much over from there.
Yeah, you wiped them. A couple of them surrendered when they saw you there, and they're going to pay attention to the enclave the next time they play there. So I like it.
Yeah, no.
I'm not pumping your tires, but it's funny because when you do something like this in a game, and I've never done it before, I probably never will. The closest I ever got to an ace is me and you played a 2v3 in LaSalle paintball, and I got all three of the other team, but we only did that because they were all trying to attack Connor at the same time, knowing I was the weak link. But Connor was very humble, but as he's walking back to us, he kind of tucks his mark under his arm and he just holds up his hands holding up like this, like 6, and it's like, oh my god. So that was his moment. Now we ended up playing on a field after that we never play anymore, except we just finished a 1v1 there. We're going to go on tire ball. Now we may have differing views of this, because my opinion is tire ball max is probably 4 or 5 players per side. So we're going in the game with 6 each. And you said at one point, well, maybe I'll sit off, which I respect. And because it can be a little overwhelming there. But it's like, no, everybody lines up. And it's like, well, these guys are... Okay, I'll give you a second. My thought was, they can't sit back on this one. Not all 6 of them are going to sit on top there. So this could be a real shootout. And if they do want to sit, I thought we can run up because we know this well. Connor, you want to take it from there? I saw you had your hand up.
Yeah, so I wasn't planning on sitting out. I said I would, but it's because Michael hates tires.
Oh.
And when at first, before like everybody came from the safe zone, because we were just going to play a quick game, originally it was supposed to be 3-on-3, but there was 7 of us, and our team was 4. And I saw him, he was like putting like his hand up and stuff. I was like, okay, I'll sit out for that because I wanted him to play. Like I was just throwing him in. But no, it was in the end you guys came over and we had the 6-on-6. And I mean it's I feel like it's too little to really have a full impression of how it plays, because I really just I ran up the piece of cover, kind of crawled over to another one, and I stayed there all game and kind of just watching one angle, communicating with the team. It was fun and hectic, but it's like I don't really know if it'd be like that every single time, if it wouldn't be hectic, but instead like too chaotic with that many people. I don't know if it was just our group worked on it. Nothing against the field itself, obviously, but it's like just because there's 12 people on that, it's a lot. So
it was very shooty, and the way we went, you went kind of on the right side from our spawn. If you're spawning our spots in north, we fanned out in kind of a U, specifically knowing that these guys are going to sit back, so they're going to fire a lot of shots. Let's get a little bit of the field, and then maybe try to advance a little bit further up. And one of two things are going to happen. We can just squeeze them out and take control of the field till we got them pinned and spawn. Or secondly, we're going to force them to do something that only a couple of their players did in the first few games, which is venture out a bit. And there was a lot of shots. There was a lot of shots, a lot of paint flying everywhere. And sure enough, I'll talk to where I got knocked out, because I did get knocked out. We advanced a bit on the left. Connor was advancing on the right, so us on the south, you on the north. And it was Felix was the only guy. After about a minute or so, and again, when I edit the video, things go so fast and slow when you're playing, but it seemed to be about a minute. Felix was the only guy on spawn, which is a good tactic to do on high ground where they spawned. And he was just firing down the whole time. And it was one of those things, again, where I was getting shots close, but they were hooking and slicing. But there was only one. And then I saw Green Rental went up to my left. And I was calling out to some of the new guys. Didn't know the name, but he's right in the barrier in front of you. So he got knocked out. I looked. Felix finally moved down. Somehow nothing ever happens good when I go prone. I ended up going prone. I look up. Oh, Felix is there. Right off the top of the head. I'm out. I get to the top of the field, and I'm saying, wow, these guys, that's cool. These guys are getting comfortable, and they're moving up. And Connor, do you want to explain what happened at the game? Because you mentioned at the start, it's like, let's gain ground and whittle them down. And how did that go?
I don't know about that game. I don't think I really had much of a strategy. It was more just survive the initial 5 seconds, because normally I'm out right away. But I try to maybe run up too far and I'm out. But we kind of just had them on. We set up a nice perimeter, kind of a little before like the 50 line, and we kind of just let them come to us. I guess with how that bottom side is that the cover is more close together, so you can kind of more tight as a team, and you can kind of actually move during the round, compared to their side, the top side, with how big the gaps are between cover. It was pretty easy to pick them off as they're running. So we set up, we let them come to us. I think we had the man disadvantage, like we had some casualties at the start of the game, but we came back. And yeah, apparently I almost died. It might have been Green Rental. But Michael told me that whoever killed him had an angle on me, exactly where I was. But I was like perfectly behind the cover, and if I was like an inch backwards, he would have seen me. The person, I think it was Green Rental, because Michael said he ended up running out of ammo, the person, and had to go off. I know Green Rental doesn't really carry that much on him in a game.
Yeah.
So I figured it might be him, but no, I mean, it was fun. Definitely having the tournaments helped, because I know that you can't, just from the tournament itself with the Spire, right, how important it is to get to the Spire, watching the videos and of course like being there, I realized like the middle's strong, but like it's as strong as where the other team is. Like if they're far back, it's good to go to the middle, but if they're just as close, the middle's like suicide because all the cover is just a round thing. Like there's no wall to get behind. So if you're behind the spire, you can shoot in front of you, but the left and right, you're totally exposed.
Yeah. And your peripheral
I knew to
vision,
kind of just play a little back.
yeah, your peripheral vision, if you're looking on the left behind spire, usually on a lot of fields you can still see the right a bit, but then you got this tower and you can't really see around it. Once again, I'm going to say, if you haven't been at the field before at Warzone, saying, oh, you know, the one side you guys spawned on, it's closer together, easier to move up. But they have high ground. So they fire down on you. And even though I knew that some of them would run up to start, it is balanced because of that. But when I got off the field, actually, and I said, I know Felix got me. And moved up. When I went kind of behind him in the safe area and I saw that there was nobody at spawn yet, I thought, oh, we got a chance at this. Like I said, I was happy they moved up, got more comfortable. And it was a fun game, but it was a one-off. They said it was lunch. And we went down and they just finished the second level on the container side of base field/map. It's been in the works for a while, but now it's finally done. They got the roof, they got the walls in front of them. They have, now it's good. And they have lots of little rooms inside, which I didn't take any video, but that's going to make a good video next time out. It's really interesting. But we decided, because it was only, in the end, I think it was a 5-on-5 in the end, wasn't it? At first we thought it was going to be 3. It was either 4-on-4 or 5-on-5.
I think it was everybody played. Oh, no. Okay, well, Michael definitely didn't. It might have been...
It was 5-on-5.
Yeah, it was 5-on-5. It wasn't 4-on-4. Because at first it was 3-on-3, but then one person came in, another person, another person. Then we were 5-on-5. And so we made the rules initially for 3v3, saying, like, oh, like, we'd love to try the second floor, but it's going to be too, like, campy, and how scary that field can be when there's not enough people, right, that you're kind of just walking around.
Yeah.
So, with how little people at first, we said no second floor. When it opened up to 5-on-5, maybe we could have played second floor, but...
No, it would have... They broke out of their shell, a lot of the guys that were a little bit more staying back. So, yeah, the second floor, I think, would have maybe reverted them to that. Now, it was an interesting game because we're spawning on the container side. I felt really confident because I got Connor and Michael, who know the field well. Yes, we got the other guys.
Michael was up top watching.
Oh, that's true. Duh, stupid me. Well, that's maybe I had a false sense of confidence. But, well, I know especially because you were going to go north, which you love doing. You don't do it all the time, but you go there, you usually put your money that something's good's going to happen, especially because they didn't know it. They didn't know that. Like, Norm's listening in the audience right now. Norm, Nick, Rob, any of our regulars were playing on the other side. They knew we were on that side. They'd say, probably check north in case Connor runs there. So you ran in there, and you actually got a couple of quick eliminations. And I ended up crossing the road in the middle, and I thought, stick a fork in this one. We got this one. We got this one. And there was good communication, because this is one of the videos that I'm currently have 3 of the videos that I'm in editing mode, different stages. And I like how you were using the teammate closest to you. I forget who it was. He was
Jason,
yeah, Jason. You were talking, communicating well. There was one guy still on our container side you're communicating with. I was communicating with Felix's dad, and we were doing hand signals, the whole thing. And it's like, hey, we feel like pros. We feel like pros, man. We're going in there. And I went to be so bold because I saw somebody in the corner by the gas pumps, and it's like they might have 2 guys left, 3 the most. And I call it out, gas pumps. I don't care if people know where I am. And I walk in the middle of the 2 admin buildings. There's the overhang where you spawn. And I just kind of like walked over there, kind of half ran over there. I turn around. I see Felix's dad again. I'm pointing people out. I see an enemy. I take him out. Then I look and I see Damon. He runs across. He goes around the corner. And I had one of these moments we've all had when we play paintball where... See, I'm looking at you right now on the screen. If you're listening to this audio, I'll try to articulate it. So I've got my camera's here, and I see myself talking. I see Connor. I'm looking at Connor. And I'm looking at Connor because I was scanning the field, and the way I'm looking at Connor right now is that was Damon, about 40 feet away, just out from behind a container, and all of a sudden it dawned to me, hey, he's on the other team. And apparently it was the same thing for Damon. We pull our markers up, shoot. We start going back and forth, and all of a sudden I hear the dreaded sound. The sound that you hear a lot, Connor. I ran out of air. So I walk off the field, and I went in a span of about a minute of gameplay to, oh yeah, this is going to be a quick one, we'll play another one, we got them, they're toast, to, oh my god, they got behind us, now I'm out. So what happened after that one, Connor, to the best of your recollection?
Yeah. Well, to kind of compliment what you were saying, that you're communicating so well with hand signs, I did like the definition of a like miscommunication where I was trying to signal to Jason without speaking because I didn't want them to know my position. Said I like held up two fingers, like two of them, and I pointed at the spawn to show where the two guys I killed, because they were standing in the little where the car drives through, where the curtain. Mm-hmm. It's like two of them are dead, like they're over there. And he pulls up his marker. He's like, two of them over there, and he's like looking. I'm like, no. And I'm like, two of them, like dead. And so he understood that one. After that, took a little bit, but I started creeping on their side, and I had the same moment as you, is that I saw, I think it was Owen in the middle of the field on our team. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at him, but he was looking at the container side. So I held my gun up for a second, like about to pull the trigger, and I was like, oh wait, no, that's one of us. But he's looking at that side, like playing it like as if he's on the enemy team, like looking to our side behind their cover. Yeah. So totally thought he was an enemy. I didn't shoot him. Then he gets hit out. And so I'm like, okay, well, they have to be behind us. So I wrapped around, and I'm playing in the middle of the field on the road. And I'm like looking, it's like, where are these guys? Are they, in the middle container on the side of the road? Or are they like in our spawn? And so I take a few steps, check our spawn, and there's Green Rental, both of us with our guns down. We walk into each other, and I get scared. I like pull up my gun, shoot 2 shots, running away, and I got him. Luckily, it was a pretty fluke shot, but I got him out. And after that, I thought it was like, okay, that's it. But turns out there's one more, and it was Eamon.
Yeah.
And so I looked.
A thorn in our side all day, which is a compliment.
Yeah, no, very, very, very good player. But I look at like the spawn, well, not the spawn, but like the dead box. I see who's there, and I see Felix. I see Green Rental. I see Jen. So I know it's just Damon left, and Jason, who I already signaled before that they're behind us. He's kind of looking there, and I get a glimpse of Damon. And I just call it out loud. Like, he's on our side in the middle. Like, he's on the red container, the middle one that you spawn behind. And I was like, loud. I wanted Jason knowing that he's there. And knowing that he's the last guy, right? It's like, who cares about being quiet? Especially when Damon knows, like, he bumped into me. He knows I'm there. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know where Jason is. So that's why I called out loud. It's like, so Damon gets through his head, right? It's like, okay. Maybe he doesn't know that he's alone, but he knows that one guy knows exactly where he is, and his whole team should know.
Yeah, you just called him out.
And that's
Good strategy.
That's more or less what happened, is that Jason, he was kind of right beside me, but he crept into the middle. And he got Damon right in the middle of the containers, like where you spawn, to like look at the other team. Mm-hmm. And apparently Jason caught him flat-footed too, as he fell on his butt, Damon, and he shot him when he was down, and shot him in his chest, I think, and also shot him on his hopper, so it flew open and all of his balls came out too.
That's what friends do to each other.
He got gunned down. So I guess I did get him a little nervous by like being him like a 5-star wanted level. You know where you are, whatever.
That is the field where I will call people out like that, to try to, what you did, like, calling him out, letting your teammate know where he is, but again, it's letting Damon know, like, we know where you are, and you're all alone, and putting a little fear in him, especially when clearly he's played before. It's been a while, but you don't know the field well, it's like, he ends up falling on his behind to get knocked out. And look, that was the last game of the day for us. And I'm happy to say that as we kind of geared down and they had their lunch, they've actually, a couple of them have joined the Discord and the Facebook group. I would love to see those guys come out again.
For sure.
Yeah, it's good vibes. Sometimes you play with somebody and say, oh, they're pretty cool in that, and you want to make sure they mesh with everybody. Whether you're ultra competitive or just, rec ball players like us, but just a really good vibe. It's like when we walked off the field there, even though his friend got him, Damon Goldsu was like, where the hell did you come from? It's like you were up on the road there and that. I mean, it was just really good vibes, and it reminded me of the time where C1D was like 4 or 5 of us, and we just go out to the field and try to recruit some players in. It was good for that, but I'm looking forward. Actually, before we talk about our next outing as we wind down here, I mean, it's funny because for me the day started off, it's like, okay, that's cool. I like this. We've been here before where it's I like small groups. It was kind of intimate. That curveball of where, oh no, these guys are going to sit back all day. It happens. But it kind of opened up and it created some pretty unique games. I thought I thought it was a fun day. I do like to have the regulars come out in that, have numbers in that, but definitely was not a disappointment in my books. A really great day, especially if these guys come out again, because I'll be happy to play with any of those guys.
I couldn't agree more. It's nothing against our guys, but we're playing the same place against the same guys. You kind of you know each other, and you know each other's strategies. Like, oh, this person likes to do this person likes to go here sometimes, whatever. So playing with this new group that they're cool guys, but they're good, smart players too. It's cool to figure them out too, right? It's like everything's like such a surprise. So yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I'd love to play with them again.
Now, that's an excellent segue. I don't know if you're just teeing that up for me, giving one down the middle.
You're welcome.
Practice.
You're welcome.
But speaking of new things and surprises, we are going to be playing quick turnaround. No week off this week. We're going to be going to La Phoenix paintball field. It's been around for quite a while. As a matter of fact, a couple of regulars there are the Pepin brothers, who are behind LaSalle Paintball. They took over Arnold's and did LaSalle Paintball for a few years, which unfortunately was a victim of COVID. They ran the field very well. And but they got other jobs too in that, so they decided to walk away from the business part of it, and they continue to play. So I really can't wait to see it. It's a different field. I can't wait to see those guys. Nick was talking. He knows a couple of guys that go there. He said that they've got a group like us that just go out, have fun. They like to play. They don't ostracize rentals. They understand what freeze is, and yeah. Connor, what are you looking forward the most when you go to a new field? Am I putting you on the spot? Do you want me to answer that first, or what are you looking forward to the most?
No. I know. I figured you'd ask that. So no, I'm kidding. But I think it's cool to go there, and I really like going in blind for those types of things. Like, I know you like to do your homework, and it's good that you do, because obviously you're the guy organizing all this. I like to go in not looking at any pictures, is that I want to go in and be put onto the field and only kind of figure out then. It's like, okay, this is here, this is there. And it's kind of like solving it as a puzzle on the spot, compared to not cheating before. But it's like imagine doing a test for school, except the test doesn't count, and so you're kind of like solving it on the spot without studying. That's a terrible analogy, but I don't know. I think it's cool to just go in. I always like playing at new places. Like I said, I like playing with new people. You're figuring them out. You do this, oh, this doesn't work, whatever. Mm-hmm. I like to learn like that. So
I couldn't put it any
somewhere else that you said it gives you kind of Warzone vibes of with the community there, but also kind of the field, the market. You said.
Yeah, I didn't look too much into it, but I did see a couple of pictures where, got the buildings, barriers. The only 2 pictures I saw, but there seems to be a little bit more open space, but we don't know. Maybe they took it from the sidelines. So there is going to be the blind element going in as well.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I'm looking forward to
What
that.
about you?
Well, for me, like I said, I like to I just want to make sure, I'm just curious on the setup because you can have a place like I know there's a couple places in northern Vermont. We're thinking about doing a day trip there, and got really nice looking fields, but more basic. So you got the spools, you got a few barrels, but a lot of woods ball, and there's no problem because I love woods ball. At D-Day, I love going in the woods. And there's nothing like having buildings and barriers to, but I just want to know, like, well, what are we dealing with? A little bit of both, a little bit more one or the other. So, so I know that they kind of got it seems to be a decent setup. For me, I'm just going out there, playing with different people, mixing up our guys against their guys. And honestly, I'm looking forward to playing somewhere new. And just make it, I don't want to be totally blind. Because I want like a buyer beware thing. But it looks like a good field, and I'll be happy to figure things out. And I'll have excuse at least for a few games if I get knocked out early, saying, "Oh, I didn't know that line of sight." Even though I'll probably run out in the middle of nowhere where there's no cover, but that's me, right?
Yeah, because you can't use that excuse anymore at Warzone. Yeah,
I can't. So
can't.
We have our trick plays.
You gotta take it out of retirement.
Yeah. Oh, retirement ain't too far away, and you get up in the numbers there. Okay, so unless you got anything else to say, I'd say let's wrap this up. It was a good little podcast, good little weekend. Like I said, I got the vibes of like old school when it was just a smaller, tighter group. Don't get me wrong, I love how C1D is growing, but kind of to our roots a little bit, and just great guy. The refs, we mentioned them earlier, by the way. The young guys, 2 young guys, great refs. Very, like they paid attention. It's always good when you have 2. Not that there are refs, single refs that can handle the whole field, but good guys up to whatever we want to try on that. They listen well, and damn it, Thomas, you would have had a field day because everyone was asking me questions because I look like the old guy with this beard about the paintball markers, and I literally said, dude, I can hardly even clean my magazine, so I don't know. I didn't even know. He goes, which way do I turn it to put more power? It's either left or right, dude.
Yeah, no, we needed a know-it-all. We needed Thomas or Nick to be there.
There you go.
Next time we'll have them on a phone call and speed dial.
Oh, there we go. Just have a technician waiting in the wings. Well, Connor, thanks for joining me. I'm going to be honest. When we were talking about the podcast, and this is episode, I think 13 or 14 on them, I always thought about it, but you kind of helped encourage it. You helped set up the whole setup we have on Discord. So I can't really call you a guest because it is the C1D podcast, and you're one of the co-founders with me. So I'm not going to say thanks to our guest, Connor. Just thanks for sitting here and making it just not me talking in circles, although I'm doing it again right now. We'll have a quick turnaround.
Ovals, not circles, since I'm here.
Oh, okay.
not as big as normal, yeah.
Well, we're going to have a quick turnaround. You're going to have another podcast because we like to do this after we play, and we're playing in 5 more days at Phoenix. Thanks to Warzone, our home field that hosted us this week. All the new players we played with, the familiar faces, the intermediate faces. Felix, I owe you. You were longballing me all day. There will be a reckoning. There will be a reckoning, kid. Go out there, have fun. Thanks, Connor. Thank you for the people listening live here. We have Norm. Who is Super Fun Nix? Who would that be?
That is... And when we went out the first time of Green Rental.
Oh, okay.
There was the 4, so it was Green Rental, Felix, Fred, and the 4th person, I do not remember their name, and that's him, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well, dude, you only caught the tail end of the podcast to listen to it again. More importantly, come out with us again.
Fred showed up and you didn't, so you got to come out next time.
There you go. And like I said, we got another father and son team out there. We got to synchronize so we all play together. And, that's it. Go out there, have fun. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like us, rate us, and tell everybody about us. Thanks for listening.